McLaren. Today is Friday, November the 15th, 2019. Today we're going to look at my condensate pump on my furnace, and it's condensate coming from the furnace. The actual furnace itself is a gas furnace, plus condensate coming from the air conditioner. Now this is the pump is the model number 554401, and this particular model does not have the feature with the safety switch that connects to your thermostat and shuts it off if the pump's not working. Anyway, the other day, I come down here, there was water on the floor, and I looked, and it was surrounded by the condensate pump. So I checked the power. The power goes, this goes to the 110, and I checked the breaker, and then I checked the power source. It was fine, and I said, well, I'll call the furnace people that put my furnace in, because they got insurance. So I called them up, and they said, oh yeah, Mr. McLaren, you have insurance on your furnace, but the condensate pump is not part of that insurance, so that's funny. It's part of the furnace. You hooked it up to the condensate pump. Anyways, I'm sorry, but we'll have to charge you for that. It's $119 to come out and take a look at it. And if you need a new pump, then you'll have to charge you for that new pump. And I'm sure if you get a pump from them, it's not going to be $55 off of Amazon. So I ended up looking at the pump, and I think what happened, the float was stuck, and that's what happened. I took the cover off, and it started to work again. So we'll show you how to take the cover off to check it. Now the pump is on, plugged in. We're going to take the screw off here, take the cover off. Just take a look inside here. The one little screw on the other side here that holds the whole unit down. It's like a self-tapping screw. And this whole top of this thing will come off, and we'll show you how it works. Magnetic screwdriver. Now there's two little lips on here. You just push it forward here, and the whole thing comes straight off. Now looking at the unit here, this is where the power comes in, and we're not touching anything because it's live. Goes to the micro switch. And when the micro switch is activated by the pump float, sends power to the motor and it pumps it out. Now it won't pump until it gets to a certain level, so we're going to add some water and see if it works. Little reservoir here gets to a certain height and it'll pump out. There it goes. So that's pumping. It's coming out of this tube here, and it's clamped on with a couple clips here. That pumps there to your drain somewhere. So there's another way you can check it to make sure your micro switch is working. You just tap this here, just lift this up. That's the pump. It's working. So I know now the micro switch is working on this, so it's not the micro switch. The other thing, it could be clogged. There's a check valve right down here. I actually bought a pump off Amazon as a backup. We're going to take a look at some of the features of that pump. So again, this pump does not have the two safety switch leads off of it, and I'm going to replace it with the same pump that they installed here. So put this back on, put it over the edge, and slide it forward, put it back in. Self-tapping screw there. Long threads on it. There, it's tight there now. Called the Little Giant. It's written right here. And again, this is the number 554401. And on the sides here, where it comes in, don't forget there's screws that hold that. There's two tabs on each side of it, on each side of the pump here, that hold that pump against your furnace. This is the package that comes from I think I paid $48 off Amazon. That's Canadian price, but there's no safety switch on my particular model. Mine didn't have the safety switch, so I'm not going to replace it with a different one. 554401, and the serial number is written around the box itself, and it's good for pumping about 15 feet in the air. And it comes with instructions. instructions here with the pump. So there's the different pumps here, depending which one you get. Now the pump itself, so this just plugs into your 110, an outlet. Now we're going to take the screw back off here again, just to show you inside here. That's a Phillips number 2 screw that holds the top of this on. We'll take another look at it so that have a better understanding of it. Now on the back of this thing, there's 2 little lips here. Just push it forward and then lift it up. That whole thing comes off. So again, there's little clamps in here on the thing. They just pull it forward and then lift it straight off. Comes with a shipping label, and you would pull that off when you're ready to start your pump. This is again coming into the power coming in to the micro switch. And when the micro switch is turned on by the flow coming up, gives power to the motor, which pumps the water out of the pump. Now this is your check valve. We're going to take a look at the check valve here to explain a bit about it. Number 14 metric wrench to take this off. This is another thing you may want to check in your pump, and the Tygon tubing goes over that, and you see there's a little bit of a thread on that thread, but and then you put clamps on that or tie wraps on that to hold that down. And then if you hear it rattle in here, so sometimes the ball gets stuck, say you get gunk in here or whatever, so you'd get some canned air. You get this at any hardware store. This is just canned air, and just blow it in the bottom of this thing to clear any crud out of there, and then reinstall it. So that's your valve there. Tighten that back up a bit there. Now it does come apart in the side here, the back here. Just press this tab here, it comes apart. And we'll take a look at the whole assembly here. There's that float, and when it floats up, it starts to pump, and then here's where the water goes through the pump. And in the back, we'll put this back on, the lid back on. So again, just put it over top of here. Put it over top of those 2 lugs in the back there, push it forward. Put the screw back in. So $48 at Canadian Amazon. I think I seen it at Home Depot. The one at Home Depot has a safety switch on it. Mine again does not have a safety switch on it. Mine didn't come with a safety switch, so I'm not replacing with a different pump, using the same pump. The other thing I want to mention, at the back here, there's little clamps at the back here. Now that's connected to your furnace, these 2 little clamps here. And there's usually a screw on the side of the furnace, and they just go on top of those screws, and they tighten those screws to hold it against the furnace. So again, this is the Little Giant. No safety switch on this one. Make sure you get the right pump wherever you have in your house. And for $55 or $50 Canadian, I got a spare pump, and I don't have somebody coming out here for $120 and charging me $85 for a new pump. I'd like to thank all my subscribers, all my new subscribers in the last couple of weeks. Thanks so much for subscribing to my channel. If you watch this for the first time today, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this video today. Have a great day, people.